Hey gang, Dane Haynes from the Freeland House Church. Jeremiah 34 and 36 are my texts today. In Jeremiah 34, Jeremiah tells the king of Judah, Zedekiah, that he and the whole city of Jerusalem are about to be handed over to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon because they have become so rebellious toward God. The crazy thing is that Jerusalem was already under the control of the king of Babylon, and in fact, Nebuchadnezzar had installed Zedekiah as king. Now Zedekiah was thumbing his nose at Nebuchadnezzar. That, of course, did not end well. If you're rebellious to the authorities over you, you are probably going to be rebellious to God and vice versa. One of the big issues which was causing Israel's downfall was their failure to release from bondage their fellow Israelites who had sold themselves into indentured servitude. All Israelites who had sold themselves into slavery were supposed to be released from that agreement every 7 years. But no, the owners were too greedy to obey the Lord, and this was apparently one of the main reasons God is ticked. In chapter 35, God, through Jeremiah, holds up the Rechabites as an example of heartfelt obedience. These good people had committed themselves to never drinking wine for several generations, and even when they're invited by God himself to the temple for a little party, they absolutely refuse to drink. God's pleased and lets all Israel know in no uncertain terms that this is the kind of obedience which brings him joy. In chapter 36, we meet King Jehoiakim, the epitome of a guy who will not listen. Are you seeing a pattern? Jeremiah dictates God's words to a fellow named Baruch, who probably had great penmanship. He writes all the words on a scroll and delivers them to the king. The king reads the scroll inch by inch and cuts off each piece and throws it into his fire pot. Not cool. God expects us to listen to his word. So a key verse for these 3 chapters is difficult to pin down, but next, I think Jeremiah sums it all up in 37:2. Neither he nor his attendants nor the people of the land paid any attention to the words the Lord had spoken through Jeremiah the prophet. Our takeaway this day: listen and obey. There's no other way.